updating. I hate updating software because then it always seems to screw stuff up that you did before. You guys, welcome into Non-Believers Bible Study. Let me tell you where we're at today. Let me then share out the live. If you are friendly and you want to come up, let's do this thing. We are in Leviticus chapter 13. Don't we love Leviticus? Isn't Leviticus fun? So if you want to come up and read Leviticus with me this morning, the guest box is open, and please do so. Don't forget, share out the live, do all the good things. Do I even have a gift goal? I don't know if I did one yet. I don't think that's my gift goal. No, but thank you, Dougal, thank you. Let me do one that's something for everybody. Let's go 666 of the roses, because those are easy to do. Okay, we got that started. Now I'm going to share this out to a couple of my regulars to make sure that they know that I'm here. But why can't I share this out right now? This is weird. Okay. My share button was weird. Let's go. Rabbi Hannah and Rav. Huh. There we go. Okay, I'm curious what the benefits of Bible study are for non-Christians. Well, I think that when you live in a society that bases their religion or their laws on this religion and this text, it's important to know what it really says. And also, I don't feel that when I was growing up in the church and I was indoctrinated that they really taught me everything that they should have. So, hi friend, how are you? Good to see you. I think that educating yourself on anything that you've namaste, anything that you find important in your life, you should educate yourself. And I think the fact that we are asking teachers to put the 10 Commandments in the schools, which are not even the 10 Commandments. Like, let's be real. The Bible never calls those the 10 Commandments. When we're asking people to teach this to our children, it's really our civic duty, isn't it, now, to know what this says? What it really says? Not what you just preached to on Sunday morning? Good morning, Chaos. Good morning, Storm. Good morning to all my friends and people who are coming in. If you want to come up and join me this morning, it usually takes a little while for me to get people in for Non-Believers Bible Study, but yeah, if you want to come up, the guest box is open. Remember, I only take friendlies on Non-Believers Bible Study. If you know me like from Discord, but I might not know who you are, just tell me. Thank you. I like what we're doing here too. A lot of times Rabbi Hannah, who is also known on the app as That Rebel Rabbi, or my friend Rabbi Bert will come in and help us go through the Bible together. And but when they are not here, I usually have my little iPad here. But it's dead, so let me plug it in real quick, and we can look things up together. We can look up the original Hebrew. I also have the Jewish Study Bible next to me. I have several translations of the Bible next to me, but the Jewish Study Bible has some really good input for these Old Testament texts, so we have the ability to hear. Hi, etc. Again, etc. or anybody who wants to come up. I hate talking to myself when I do Bible study, so I love it when a friendly comes up and at least lets me talk to them. I mean, I know I'm not talking to myself because I know there's people in chat, but it feels funny, like, you know, when you're trying to just talk to chat. Okay, don't work too hard. Don't work too hard, friend. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started today. We are in Leviticus chapter 13. I'm sorry. All right. And I do have the Jewish Study Bible. I like to read paragraph by paragraph, and then but it's much more interesting when someone else is explaining and discussing, especially in a secular context. Oh, yeah, I think that the Bible, just reading it can be boring. I like to delve into it. I like for me to understand what the people at the time, why were they writing these things? What did it mean to them? Like I said, often we will have a rabbi in here, and they cannot make it every week because unfortunately they're both actual rabbis who have actual congregants to attend to. But yeah, if you guys don't mind though, can you help me boost this out a little bit? Don't forget to send the heart me's if you enjoy the content I make. Also, I have my gift goal. It's just roses, 666 of those. And, you know, hail Satan. We're going to delve into, I'm reading from the New Revised Standard Edition. It is not the updated, but it is a New Revised Standard Edition, along with the Jewish Study Bible Tanakh translation. So, again, if you are friendly and you want to come up and hang out with me, just put your request in. All friendlies are welcome. And we will go ahead and get started this morning. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, when a person has on the skin of his body a swelling or an eruption or a spot, and it turns into a leprous disease on the skin of his body, he shall be brought to Aaron the priest, or to one of his sons the priest. The priest shall examine the disease on the skin of his body, and if the hair in the diseased area has turned white and the disease appears to be deeper than the skin of his body, it is a leprous disease. After the priest has examined him, he shall pronounce him ceremonially unclean. But if the spot is white in the skin of his body and appears no deeper than the skin, and the hair in it has not turned white, the priest shall confine the diseased person for 7 days. The priest shall examine him on the 7th day, and if he sees that the disease is checked and the disease has not spread in the skin, then the priest shall confine him 7 days more. The priest shall examine him again on the 7th day, and if the disease has abated and the disease has not spread in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is only an eruption, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the eruption spreads in the skin after he has shown himself to the priest for his cleansing, he shall appear again before the priest. The priest shall make an examination, and if the eruption has spread in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous disease. The term leprous at this point in time is being used for any skin disease. So I just want you to understand that you could have, some kind of dermatitis, really. You could have eczema, and they would consider you a leper. You could have, an allergic reaction, frankly. They would have considered you a leper. So when you hear about biblical leprosy, it is not the leprosy that is an actual diagnosis, Hey, Dark Knight, if you want to come up and do Bible study with me, I would love it if you did. I'm going to send you an invite because I hate doing Bible study alone. I'm not usually alone, but everybody must be busy today. Yeah, your eczema would have got you locked up. Now, I do want to point out that they were at least doing some things that we know are, things that work in medicine, which is isolating or what's it called? It's not called isolating, but basically it's isolating a patient so that disease doesn't spread. Before that we really understood that, so quarantine. They quarantined. Hey, how are you today?
So far, so good. How you doing?
I'm doing really good. Thanks for coming up. We're in Leviticus 13 today. So if you want to join us, that's where we're at. I'm reading from the New Revised Standard Edition, and I do have the Jewish Tanakh. Sometimes Rabbi Hannah or Rabbi Bert join us on Wednesday mornings, and then they help us go through the Old Testament. Right now, we're kind of winging it ourselves this morning. So let me check the Jewish Tanakh here and see if there's anything else like that we should really know about that verse or those verses. Leviticus 13, and we went through 1 through 8. Well, I guess as we continue on, because this says 1 through 14, we're going to go through it. Impurity caused by Tizara. These two chapters are a unit, prescribing the elimination of the impurity caused by Tizara. I can't say that word because I do not speak biblical Hebrew. I need to take Dr. Bowen's class. Let me spell it for y'all. It's T-Z-A-R-A apostrophe A-T. This has sometimes been translated as leprosy or leprous affection. Affection, it says affection. But the disease today called leprosy or Hansen's disease was not known in biblical times, and the description given in the Bible is not consistent with it. Further, since Tizat afflicts not only humans but also fabrics and building materials, it cannot be identified with a single pathology. The distinctive symptom of it in humans is scale-like eruptions of the skin. Though most similar to psoriasis and vitiligo, not all of the symptoms correspond. Lacking modern microbiology, the Bible referred to conditions with similar outward manifestations by a single name. Tizara, however you say that word, in fabrics and buildings. So you're going to hear a little noise right now. My daughter is up making coffee. If you want something, put your orders in. In fabrics and building materials are types of mildew. The Bible does not view disease per se as defiling. Only those having Tizarat or whatever, or abnormal genital fluxes. What the hell is that? What is a genital flux? I don't even know. Are considered to be impure. So let me continue on, and we'll see what maybe they talk about it. I don't know. What? Yeah, those were words I didn't know I was going to read today, and don't really ever want to read again. Okay, when a person contracts a leprous disease, he shall be brought to the priest. The priest shall make an examination, and if there is a white swelling in the skin that has turned the hair white, and there is quick raw flesh in the swelling, I would really like somebody to go to WebMD and look up these symptoms and see what WebMD says these are for real, though. Okay, let's see. In the skin that has turned the hair white, and there is a quick raw flesh in the swelling, it is a chronic leprous disease in the skin of his body. The priest shall pronounce him unclean. He shall not confine him, for he is unclean. But if the disease breaks out in the skin so that it covers all the skin of the diseased person from head to foot, so far as the priest can see, then the priest shall make an examination, and if the disease has covered all his body, he shall pronounce him clean of the disease. Since it has all turned white, he is clean. But if raw flesh ever appears on him, he shall be unclean. The priest shall examine the raw flesh and pronounce him unclean. Raw flesh is unclean, for it is leprous disease. But if the raw flesh again turns white, he shall come to the priest. The priest shall examine him, and if the disease has turned white, the priest shall pronounce the diseased person clean. He is clean. Chaos said, WebMD says they're already dead. I did say good morning to YouTube. If you're over on YouTube, good morning. I just turned on my iPad, so I'll check over there in a minute. Hey, Tiny, did you want to come up? We're just reading through Leviticus right now. Okay, I sent you an invitation if you want to come up. What I've noticed is nowhere so far have these people been given any medical treatment. They're just being examined and then quarantined or not quarantined, or declared clean or unclean. But literally no medical treatment has been given to any of these people.
Well, by medical treatment in that day and age, it would be like prayer, or like consulting the bones or the tea leaves, or like checking to see if the cow had blood in its milk, or some other like paganistic practices that they used instead of prayer.
But these rules are coming from an all-knowing God. You would think he would have been able to at least tell them how to do first aid. You know what I'm saying? If this is truly from your all-knowing God, how do we not know first aid yet? That's my question.
It's just those mysterious ways, sister. That's all it is.
I guess so. We got Bert coming up now. This is my friend, Rabbi Bert. How are you this morning, Rabbi?
So he might good. Just be I can only stay on for a few moments, but just wanted to come and say hi. Yeah, absolutely. Great to see you. What's up, Tiny?
What's up, Bert? Good to see you, brother.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. Is there anything you want us to know about Leviticus chapter 13 and leprosy? Since you only have a minute.
It's not the leprosy that like we see today. Like that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about like a spiritual infliction. I put up air quotes just to be clear. But like anything can be inflicted with this leprosy. Actually, a better translation is probably something like psoriasis. Psoriasis has the same root word or the same etymology as the sarat that's being described here.
Sarat? That's how you say that word?
Yeah, sarat, yeah. That's where the word psoriasis comes from.
I didn't know that. That's wild because they're not like spelled nearly the same. But Saraha. Okay, there you go, you guys. The spelling is Tzara apostrophe A-T, Saraha.
Sarat, yeah, like pizza, okay. Like the in pizza. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
And like your walls can be infected, your sheets can be infected, your utensils can be infected with the sarat.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Okay, moving on. Well, I did happen to read that because I read part of the Jewish Study Bible, and it was telling us a little bit about that.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, when there is on the skin of one's body a boil that has healed, and in the place of the boil there appears a white swelling or a reddish white spot, it shall be shown to the priest. The priest shall make an examination, and if it appears deeper than the skin and its hair has turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. And this is a leprous disease broken out in the boil. But if the priest examines it and the hair on it is not white, why is the hair being white so important in this?
That's a good question. I'm not exactly sure, but I think they're just trying to like distinguish like other weird skin stuff. I just like this
Okay.
is like something that continues throughout Judaism over time. Like this is
Okay.
how I know that we are the real Jews. Like this is family dinner talk. Like, can you look at this thing for me? Does this look good? Can I see a doctor?
Yeah. Okay. The priest shall confine him 7 days. If it spreads in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him unclean if it is disease. But if the spot remains in one place and does not spread, it is the scar of the boil. The priest shall pronounce him clean. Any question, commentary, or anything on that, you guys? Okay. I'm going to go check the YouTube real quick, see if there's anything.
Sorry.
That's okay. You kind of broke up a little bit.
Yeah, my connection stinks. The clean, quote unquote clean, is like ritually, like are they able to participate in the ritual functions of the tabernacle? That's what they're trying to figure out. It's not about like they need a bath. It's are they tahor? Are they able to participate in the goings on of the temple?
Oh, we got a lot of people over on YouTube this morning. Good to see
Although
everybody.
everybody should take
Hi,
that.
Ashra. Hi, Jaws. You guys, I will try to keep. Hi, Farscape. Hello, everybody over on YouTube. Good to see you guys. Okay. All right. So, I think I'm on verse 24. Or when the body has a. Okay. So as a survivor of stage 3 malignant melanoma, everything I'm hearing just sounds like skin cancer to me. I'm so sorry. This whole chapter so far just sounds like a bunch of people who have skin cancer but don't know it. That's what I hear. Okay. Or when the body has a burn on the skin and a raw flesh of the burn becomes a spot, reddish white or white, the priest shall examine it. If the hair in the spot has turned white and it appears deeper than the skin, it is a leprous disease. It has broken out in the burn, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean. This is a leprous disease. I'm sorry, I just realized that this isn't charging, and yet I decided it was. Why am I charging though? Okay, now we're charging. All right, sorry about that. Let me start that over. Or when the body has a burn on the skin and the raw flesh of the burn becomes a spot, reddish white or white, the priest shall examine it. If the hair in the spot has turned white and it appears deeper than the skin, it is a leprous disease. It has broken out in the burn, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean. This is a leprous disease. But if the priest examines it, and the hair in the spot is not white, and it has no deeper than the skin, but was abated, the priest shall confine him 7 days. The priest shall examine him in the 7th day. If it is spreading in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. This is a leprous disease. But if the spot remains in one place and does not spread in the skin, but has abated, it is a swelling from the burn, and the priest shall pronounce him clean, for it is the scar of the burn. I just want you to know that as a Christian, we're taught basically that this is definitely the leprosy in modern day leprosy terms, okay? So we were taught that like leprosy was rampant and people had body parts falling off and stuff. And I
It's
always
so wild.
yeah, and leprosy was a very serious thing that you should be concerned with. And I just go ahead.
Just every time I hear leprosy, I think of the Weird Al song "Party at the Leper Colony."
Yes. Okay, Cyber says, good news. I now have a mezuzah on my door. Hey, good morning, Cyber. If you want to come up, you can. I don't know. I think you're probably working, but you know you're always welcome to come up. Okay, so far, I just still picture skin cancer. I just still do.
Yeah.
It's good morning, Joyful. Good to see you. When a man or woman has a disease on the head or in the beard, the priest shall examine the disease. If it appears deeper than the skin and the hair in it is yellow and thin, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is an itch, a leprous disease of the head or the beard. If the priest examines the itching disease and it appears no deeper than the skin and there is no black hair in it, the priest shall continue. The person with the itching disease, I'm not continuing. I'm sorry. The priest shall confine the person with the itching disease for 7 days. On the 7th day, the priest shall examine the itch. If the itch has not spread and there is no yellow hair in it, and the itch appears to be no deeper than the skin, he shall shave. But the itch he shall not shave. The priest shall confine the person with the itch for 7 days more. On the 7th day, the priest shall examine the itch. If the itch has not spread to the skin and it appears to be no deeper than the skin, the priest shall pronounce him clean. He shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the itch spreads in the skin after he was pronounced clean, the priest shall examine him. If the itch has spread in the skin, the priest need not seek for the yellow hair. He is unclean. But if in his eyes the itch is checked and the black hair has grown in it, the itch is healed. He is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. I really want to know about the yellow and white hair. I want to know why the hair is an indicator of this shit. Like, I don't know. It's weird to me.
Totally weird. I have to go, but I wanted to offer one other thing. So, like, this is hyperlinked with Numbers chapter 12, where Miriam is being, I don't know if I can say this, racist against Moses' wife. And she gets this sura'at as a punishment for her being racist. And
Wow.
and the irony is that when the punishment for RACISM, can I say that? I don't know if I can. Can I? I just don't.
Yes, I think you can. Just say it. Okay. Just say
it.
You can say racism. Yeah.
Okay, great. The punishment for racism, according to chapter 12, is to be turned white. And so I think that's like an amazing thing. And then, right?
That's funny.
And then the point that I was trying to make is that the rabbis, Numbers 12, I think it's like 1 through 12 or 1 through 15. What was I trying to say? Oh, the rabbis are trying to make the connection that it is because of Lishon Hara, or the evil tongue, or gossiping, that this happens. In other words, if you are speaking poorly about somebody, or talking about somebody without them being present, this is the result. And it's considered to be a triple shmurder in Judaism, that you shmurder yourself for saying something poor, you shmurder the person you're talking about, and you shmurder the person who has to hear the poor words. And the result is this sara'at disease.
Okay. I'm going to read that. We'll read Numbers 1 through 15 real quick. You guys, I have a quick flash goal. It's just roses. I need 8 different people to send me 1 rose each. If you haven't sent me a rose since I started the flash goal, please send me a rose up real quick. Help boost me out. All right. Let's read about that because I want to know about that. While they were at... Thank you, Bert. Good to see you. You guys make sure you're following Rav. He's amazing. Make sure you follow him. Make sure you're following all my... You're amazing. Make sure you follow all of my panelists. Hey, Ben, did you want to come up? This is just non-believers Bible study. If you want to come up, just put your request in, okay? I only bring up people I know or friendlies if you are in the request box and you are somebody I know but I don't recognize your name. Just tell me how we know each other. Tell me you're a friendly and I'll let you up. Okay, we're gonna read that because I want to know more about that. Okay, so we're going off track a little bit. We're gonna go over to Numbers 12, 1 through 15. While they were at Hazeroth, Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Cushite woman whom he had married, for he had indeed married a Cushite woman. And they said, has the Lord spoken only through Moses? Has he not spoken through us also? And the Lord heard it. Now the man Moses was very humble, more so than anyone else on the face of the earth. Suddenly, wait, I just have to point out that if Moses wrote Numbers, then he's bragging about how humble he is. I just thought about that. Okay. Now the man Moses was very humble, more so than anyone else on the face of the earth. Suddenly the Lord said to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, come out, you three, to the tent of meeting. So the three of them came out. Then the Lord came down in a pillar of cloud and stood at the entrance of the tent and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forward, and he said, hear my words. When there are prophets among you, I, the Lord, make myself known to them in visions. I speak to them in dreams. Not so with my servant Moses. He is entrusted with all my house. With him I speak face to face, clearly, not in riddles, and he beholds the form of the Lord. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. When the cloud went away from over the tent, Miriam had become leprous, as white as snow. And Aaron turned towards Miriam and saw that she was leprous. Ooh, wow. That's a good thing to know.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, honestly.
It really is. I never knew that. And that is why we are going through the Bible, because I want to learn these things.
There's a lot of stuff. Well, some Christians argue that God is an immaterial being, but that verse right there can clearly show you that he's not immaterial. Like, how do you get around that? Like, he literally came down and stood in front of a place, you know? So that's crazy.
That is crazy. Thank you, Christina Raiders. Did she end early today? That's really early for her usually. If you're friendly, you're just joining. I do have a gift goal. It's just the roses. Yeah, I don't know why he would do that. Also, don't forget to do the heart me's and all the good stuff. And make sure you're gifting Tiny and Dark. Thank you guys for being here tonight. All right, today, not tonight, it's daytime. What am I talking about? All right, verse 29. When a man or a woman has a disease on the head or in the beard, the priest shall, oh, did I read all that? I did read all that, didn't I? He shall wash his clothes and be, blah, 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 blah. The itches heal. Okay, when a man or a woman has spots on the skin of the body, white spots, the priest shall make an examination, and if the spots on the skin of the body are of a dull white, it is a rash that is broken out in the skin. He is clean. This is... Oh, she's still alive? Okay, well, thank you for coming. When a man, if anyone loses the hair from his head, he is bald, but he is clean. If he loses the hair from his forehead and temples, he has baldness of the forehead, but he is clean. But if there is on the bald head or the bald forehead a reddish white disease spot, it is a leprous disease breaking out on his bald head or his bald forehead. The priest shall examine him. If the diseased swelling is reddish white on his bald head or on his bald forehead, which resembles a leprous disease in the skin of the body, he is leprous. He is unclean. The priest shall pronounce him unclean. The disease is on his head. This is... I just see a bunch of ridiculousness here. This is so, like... And then we like wonder, like, you know, why Christians don't seek medical help. Like this is how they started this. And I know, like, we didn't have modern medicine, but how can an all-knowing God not know first aid? I don't get it. He's all-knowing. And there were societies already doing things like using herbs for medicinal purposes and so forth. We're not even seeing that. You know what I mean?
Funniest part about this, Crystal, is this was considered advanced at the time.
Wow. The only thing I've seen that seems very advanced is the quarantining. You know? The person who has the leprous disease shall wear torn clothes, and let the hair of his head be disheveled, and he shall cover his upper lip and cry out, unclean, unclean. He shall remain unclean as long as he has the disease. He is unclean. He shall live alone. His dwelling shall be outside the camp. When I was a kid, I went to a church in Anaheim, California. Hey, how you doing? And we did a live nativity scene every year, but it was like a walkthrough. We set up the whole church to be like the city of Bethlehem back at the time of Jesus. So there was a census table, and then there was, like, I've told this story before, there was a place where you saw people make pottery with an actual manual pottery wheel that they would have had at the time. There were people who learned how to weave like they did at the time. There was food from biblical times, and it was like all out. There were camels, donkeys, sheep. We had it all. A real live baby in the manger too, okay? And one thing that we had was a centurion, who was usually my dad, by the way, who would walk around and kick the beggars out of the city. And we literally had beggars who went around saying, alms for the poor, alms for the love of Jehovah. And we also had people who were lepers who walked around saying, unclean, unclean. Like, what? Christians, we were weird. That's weird. Okay. Where is the unclean? Okay. Concerning clothing, when a leprous disease appears in it, in woolen or linen cloth, in warp or wool of linen or wool, or in a skin, or in anything made of skin, if the disease shows greenish or reddish in the garment, whether in warp or wool, or in skin, or in anything made of skin, it is a leprous disease, and shall be shown to the priest. The priest shall examine the disease and put the diseased article aside for 7 days. He shall examine the disease on the seventh day. If the disease has spread in the cloth, in warp or woof, or in the skin, whatever be the use of the skin, this is a spreading leprous disease. It is unclean. He shall burn the clothing, whether diseased in warp or wool. Whether diseased in warp or woof, woolen or linen, or anything of skin, for it is a spreading leprous disease. It shall be burned in fire. The precise meaning of the word that they're using here, according to my translation, says it is not known. It's uncertain what the precise meaning is here. If the priest makes an examination and the disease has not spread in the clothing, in warp or woof, or in anything of skin, the priest shall command them to wash the article in which the disease appears, and he shall put it aside 7 days more. The priest shall examine the diseased article after it has been washed. If the diseased spot has not changed color, though the disease has not spread, it is unclean. You shall burn it in fire, whether the leprous spot is on the inside or the outside. Okay. So remember that this, like anything, any skin, any dermatitis at all was considered leprous, and you had to like go have it examined by the priest, and he would check all this for you. Okay, verse 56. If the priest makes an examination and the disease has abated after it is washed, he shall tear the spot out of the cloth in warp or woof. I need to know what woof is. What is woof in this verse mean? I've never heard it used like this. Do you guys know what they mean by that? Warp or woof? Let me look at that. We're Leviticus 13.
I was just at a gas station, Crystal, and I gave a lady a smoke because she asked for one, and then she tried to give me an ice cream cone for it. That was probably one of the weirdest things to happen.
That is kind of wild there, right?
Yeah, it is weird.
Okay. In Leviticus 13, especially in verses like 13:47 through 59, the term warp and woof are used in older biblical translations, but this is a newer one when discussing how mildew or mold can affect textiles. These are weaving terms. Warp is the longitudinal threads held in place on a loom, and woof, also called weft, is the horizontal threads woven over and under the warp. In modern terms, warp equals the vertical threads. Woof or weft is horizontal threads. Okay, so it's talking about the literal threads in the fabrics. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is the ritual of a leprous disease in a cloth of wool or linen, either in warp or woof, or in anything of skin, to decide whether it is clean or unclean. Okay, wow. I really do not care about leprous diseases as much as these people did. That was a very boring chapter, but we're not done with leprous diseases because chapter 14 is going to go into more of them. So everybody, get yourself your little drink or your snack. We're going to start chapter 14. And Tiny and Dark, if you have commentary, questions, or anything, butt in at any time, okay?
Okay, I just want to say woof, woof, woof.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I would also like to add bow wow wow yippee oh yippee a bow wow yippee oh yippee a.
Who let the dogs out is what I want to know now. All right, you guys. And we're ready. Chapter 14. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "This shall be the ritual for the leprous person at the time of his cleansing. He shall be brought to the priest. The priest shall go out of the camp, and the priest shall make an examination. If the disease is healed in the leprous person, the priest shall command the 2 living clean birds and cedar wood and crimson yarn and hyssop be brought for the one who is to be cleansed. The priest shall command that one of the birds be slaughtered over fresh water in an earthen vessel. He shall take the living bird with the cedar wood and the crimson yarn and the hyssop and dip them and the living bird in the blood of the bird that was slaughtered over the fresh water. He shall sprinkle it 7 times upon the one who is to be cleansed of the leprous disease. Then he shall pronounce him clean, and he shall let the living bird go into the open field. The one who is to be cleansed shall wash his clothes and shave off all his hair and bathe himself in water, and he shall be clean. After that he shall come into the camp, but shall live. After that he shall come into the camp, but shall live outside his tent 7 days. On the 7th day he shall shave all of his hair of head, beard, eyebrows. He shall shave all his hair. Then he shall wash his clothes and bathe his body in water, and he shall be clean." Okay, I like to dive into these rituals they had a little bit more. So I'm going to check out the study Bible here and see if it tells me anything relevant. Okay, resuming chapter 1346, these verses prescribe the step required of the person cured to dispose of the impurity he has created. Anthropologically and sociologically, these rituals have been as rites of passage, making the return of the outcast to normal life in human society and in God's presence. Rabbinic interpretation, which tended to view the person afflicted as under divine sanction for wrongdoing, generally explained these rituals as acts of contrition, penance, and thanksgiving. In fact, however, they are for ridding the person and the environment of the impurity that has been generated, and the afflicted person is under no disprobation unless he or she fails to carry them out. The process begins when the priest has examined the afflicted person and declared him cured. The cure itself is God's affair. The priest's task begins where God's ends. This shall be the ritual for better. These are the instructions concerning Metzora, person afflicted with Zarat, and the purification of the Metzora and the expiation in 3 stages. Stage 1 takes place outside the camp as soon as the priest pronounces the afflicted person cured. Its purpose is to rid the person of the impurity that has enveloped the physical body during the ailment. The purging agent is the blood of the first of the 2 birds. This is the only instance in which purifying blood is applied to a human. The sprinkling of the reconstituted blood of the red heifer on the person contaminated by contact with a corpse in Numbers chapter 19 is the closest parallel and further indicates the close connection between Zarat and death. The second bird is kept alive and set free to carry off the impurity like the scapegoat on the annual day of atonement. The purification, see chapter 16, verse 4. Wild birds that live in the open country, clean birds, cedar wood, crimson stuff, agents of purification throughout biblical and ancient Near Eastern tradition. Hyssop used for dipping and sprinkling and therefore associated with purification. Over fresh water in the earthen vessel to dilute the substance so that there is a sufficient quantity that may easily be sprinkled. The 2 birds are considered one entity, thus the impurity after being removed by the blood of the slaughtered bird. By the blood of the slaughtered bird is believed to be transferred to the second live bird, which is then dispatched, thereby permanently disposing of it. Like, why does this God need one thing to die and then like given to the I just don't get all the blood. I don't know how people too can say that this cult isn't a blood cult. You know what I mean? Like, there's just blood all the time. And I get it that blood was thought to be the life force. Like, I get that, right? I do get that, but this was supposed to be an all-knowing God. He should have known that it not only is not the life force for everything, also that it has impurities, that it transfers diseases. I don't know. That's just my take on it. Let me check YouTube real quick and then we'll get back to it. How are you guys doing over on YouTube? Any questions or comments? Let me know. I will try to read them out. All right. Let's see. On the 8th day, he shall take 2 male lambs without blemish.
I just want to say, like, this is very strange.
Was that it? You just wanted to say this is
It
very
seems
strange?
to me like almost paganistic.
Yes.
Like, it's almost paganistic practices that really don't have anything to do with, like, an all-knowing God. Like, if this all-knowing God knows exactly what to do, why are they doing these things this particular way? And who told them to do these things this particular way? Like, where did it come from?
Exactly. It does seem very paganistic, and yet they always try to be above pagans. Like, well, pagans were doing these awful, evil, horrific, rituals and practices, dude, so were your people. What are you talking about? You know, like, I don't know. It's wild to me. On the 8th day, he shall take 2 male lambs without blemish, and 1 ewe lamb in its first year without blemish, and a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of choice flour mixed with oil, and 1 log of oil. Let's see. A log is a liquid measurement back then. The priest who cleanses shall set the person to be cleansed along with these things before the Lord at the entrance of the tent of meeting. The priest shall take 1 of the lambs and offer it as a guilt offering, along with the log of oil, and raise them as an elevation offering before the Lord. He shall slaughter the lamb in the place where the sin offering and the burnt offering were slaughtered, in the holy place. For the guilt offering, like the sin offering, belongs to the priest. It is most holy. The priest shall take some of the blood of the guilt offering and put it in the lobe of the right ear of the one to be cleansed. I'm sorry, just picture this is so dumb to me. It's always so dumb to me. And on the thumb of the right hand and on the big toe of the right foot. The priest shall take some of the log of oil and pour it into the palm of his own left hand, and dip his right finger in the oil that is in his left hand, and sprinkle some oil from his finger 7 times before the Lord. Some of the oil that remains on his hand the priest shall put on the lobe of the right ear of the one being cleansed, and on the thumb of the right hand, and on the big toe of the right foot, and on top of the blood of the guilt offering. The rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand he shall put on the head of the one to be cleansed. Then the priest shall make atonement on his behalf before the Lord. The priest shall offer the sin offering to make atonement for the one to be cleansed from his uncleanliness. Afterward, he shall slaughter the burnt offering, and the priest shall offer the burnt offering and the grain offering on the altar. Thus the priest shall make atonement on his behalf, and he shall be clean. Well, thank you, chapter. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody's support. You guys are amazing. One thing I want to point out is disease back then was directly a correlation with sin. They felt that if you were sick or had disease or something like that, that was a physical manifestation of sin. But they didn't. But then at the same time, like I hear Rabbi talk about how they didn't consider sin the way Christians consider sin. So that kind of confuses me. But they're, cleansing themselves as if this is like spiritual cleansing too. So I don't know. That's confusing to me. I know some people do still think that way. I know a lot of people still think that way. A lot of pastors still preach that. They will preach things like if your child is sick and has cancer, that it's your sin, that you've done something. It's disgusting.
Also wanted to point out that in the New Testament, it teaches that without the shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness of sins. But when you read this passage right here, sins can be forgiven without blood needing to be shed. It talks about the priest providing a grain offering to the Lord. That's awesome.
32. I get lost sometimes when I and talk. I really should highlight things as I go. Is anybody following along with me? Does anybody know? All right. I'm going to read 21. If I've already read it, please forgive me. I don't remember if I read this. Because it's very repetitive. Like they'll say, it was 21. I read it, or I need to read it. I need to read 21? Okay. I'm going to read 21. Also, there was something I thought about. They're doing this all also on the right side of the body because they thought that the right side of the body was supposed to be the dominant side of the body for everybody. But now we know that's obviously not true. And we've talked about this before, that left-handed people were often considered demonic. They had, even up until like, you know, when I was growing up, they were trying to teach people who were left-handed how to use their right hand instead of using their left hand. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Okay. But if he is poor and cannot afford so much, he shall take one male lamb for a guilt offering to be elevated, to make atonement on his behalf, and 1/10 of an ephah of choice flour mixed with oil for a grain offering, and a log of oil. Also 2 turtle doves or 2 pigeons, such as he can afford, one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. On the 8th day he shall bring them for his cleansing to the priest, to the entrance of the tent of meeting before the Lord. And the priest shall take the lamb of the guilt offering and the log of oil, and the priest shall raise them as an elevation offering before the Lord. The priest shall slaughter the lamb of the guilt offering, and shall take some of the blood of the guilt offering and put it in the lobe of the right ear of the one to be cleansed, and on the thumb of the right hand, and on the big toe of the right foot. The priest shall pour some of the oil into the palm of his own left hand, and shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that is in his left hand 7 times before the Lord. The priest shall put some of the oil that is in his hand on the lobe of the right ear of the one to be cleansed, and and on the thumb of the right hand, and the big toe of the right foot, where the blood of the guilt offering was placed. The rest of the oil that is in the priest's hands he shall put on the head of the one to be cleansed, to make atonement on his behalf before the Lord. And he shall offer of the turtle doves or pigeons, such as he can afford, one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, along with grain offering. And the priest shall make atonement before the Lord on behalf of the one cleansed. This is the ritual for the one who has a leprous disease, who cannot afford the offering for his cleansing. The Lord spoke to Moses, Aaron, saying, when you come into the land of Canaan, which I gave you for a possession, and I put a leprous disease in a house in the land of your possession, the owner of the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, there seems to be some sort of disease in my house. The priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest goes to examine the disease, or all that is in the house will become unclean. And afterward the priest shall go in to inspect the house. He shall examine the disease. If the disease is in the walls of the house with greenish or reddish spots, and if it appears to be deeper than the surface, the priest shall go outside to the door of the house and shut up the house for 7 days. The priest shall come again on the 7th day and make an inspection. If the disease has spread in the walls of the house, the priest shall command that the stones in which the disease appears be taken out and thrown into the unclean place outside the city. He shall have the inside of the house scraped thoroughly, and the plaster that is scraped off shall be dumped in an unclean place outside the city. They shall take the stones and put them in the place of those stones, and take other plaster and plaster the house. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to do a little puzzle, because for whatever reason, me reading and actually interacting makes TikTok not think that I'm really here. Like, I could understand if I was just sitting here and somebody else was talking, but I'm literally talking, TikTok. This is an area that, yeah, I know TikTok is weird. Tiny, thanks for coming up. If you want to come back up, let me know. Anybody else who is a friendly sweet pea, or anybody, if you want to come up, just put a request in. Like I said, we're just going through Leviticus right now with non-believers Bible study. I have my iPad. I have my Tanakh. If we have questions, we can look up. But this is some verses that Benny likes to bring up, because we're going to see how they're going to basically tear this whole house down, and then once they get it rebuilt or whatever, they're going to spread blood all around it, and it's just gross. Okay, so
thank you for having me up here. I gotta drop. I gotta go do
okay, well, thanks for coming up. All right, well, you guys make sure you're following Dark Knight. He goes live all the time and has great conversations, so make sure you follow him. Thanks for coming up. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much, and good luck with the rest of your stream.
Thanks. Hey, I'll be live tonight with Decon Q&A with CrystalJae, and Lobes the Absurdist is my guest. So if you can, tune in.
Oh yeah.
All right,
enjoy
we'll
the
see you
rest of your
later.
day. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. You too. Yeah, instead of all this ritual, can I see a doctor, please? Yeah, W. Lobes, for sure. And if you're still listening, Dark, YouTube says thanks too. Okay. If the disease breaks out again in the house after he has taken out the stones and scraped the house and plastered it, the priest shall go and make inspection. If the disease has spread in the house, it is a spreading leprous disease in the house. It is unclean. He shall have the house torn down. Okay? He's going to tear down this house. Its stones and timber and all the plaster of the house, and take it outside the city to an unclean place. All who enter the house while it is shut up shall be unclean until the evening, and all who sleep in the house shall wash their clothes, and all who eat in the house shall wash their clothes. Now, I have talked about this before. When they say wash their clothes, you also are showering or taking a bath too. Okay, so not just the clothes that get washed. It's extreme, but picture black mold. Like, this is like black mold level stuff here, okay? Maybe the priest is hoping to massage something out of the boiled up. Maybe, sweet pea, maybe. All right. You guys, don't forget to tap the screen. Don't forget I have a gift goal, 666 roses. I think we can meet that goal today. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you doing with your life? If you're over on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to me. I am 25 away over on YouTube to my 500 that I need. I have to do a few more things to monetize over there, but that's the first goal that I need to do. And if you haven't subscribed to me here, I bring you Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. We have some of the best guests ever. Tonight I have Lobes. Tomorrow we have Tiny Science. This weekend, Daniel Green will be joining me. And later this month, Joel, Mezzo, possibly Joyful, Justin, all the Jays will be joining me at some point. So make sure you subscribe. You're subscribed to Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus, and the Disney Channel, and you don't watch any of them because you're here every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because I see you. So why don't you cancel some of those subscriptions, save yourself some money, and then come over here and subscribe to small creators like myself and help me build my community. Also, don't forget, you can join my Discord. The link is in my bio. It's absolutely free. And also join the Deconstruction Junction. We have over 4,000 members now, I believe. All right. If the priest comes and makes an inspection and the disease has not spread in the house after the house was plastered, the priest shall pronounce the house clean. The disease is healed. For the cleansing of the house, he shall take 2 birds with cedar wood and crimson yarn and hyssop, and shall slaughter one of the birds over fresh water in an earthen vessel, and shall take the cedar wood and the hyssop and the crimson yarn along with the living bird, and dip them in the blood of the slaughtered bird and the fresh water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. Thus he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, and with fresh water, and with the living bird, and with the cedar wood and hyssop and crimson yarn. And he shall let the living bird go out of the city into the open field. So he shall make atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. This is the ritual for any leprous disease, for an itch, for leprous diseases in clothing and houses, and for a swelling or an eruption or a spot, to determine when it is unclean and when it is clean. This is the ritual for leprous diseases. So, yeah, it is blood magic, right? It's definitely blood magic. This just sounds like a pagan ritual. All right. Does anybody have any questions right now that they want me to look up or anything before we continue on? All right. I always point this first out as where the Bible is wrong and ask if they'd rather see an actor, right? Like, why, I don't know. I know that this is before modern medicine. I get that. I really do. But this was an all-knowing God. I don't understand why an all-knowing God didn't know basic first aid, let alone, the cure for cancer. I don't know. That's just me. I think all-knowing means all-knowing. Silly me. I can't tell you how quickly I would love to get through Leviticus, because my God, this bores me. But, if you follow Joel Reed's Bible, he's ahead of us a few books in the Bible, right? He assures me that Numbers is just as boring. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm not looking forward to getting on. Okay. Ready? Yeah, well, you would go to jail for animal cruelty today if we did these rituals. For sure you would. I don't know. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, "Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, when any man..." Hang on 1 second. I gotta clean my glasses. There. I'm getting a little foggy or smudgy or something. When any man has a discharge from his member, what the? What am I reading? You guys, what the fuck is wrong with this book? I'm sorry. Let me see what that's referring to. It says flesh. It says flesh is okay. Let me check the Tanakh over here. That's 15. Okay, let's check it. Why don't I see what I want to see? Oh. Concluding the laws of purification from bodily impurities, this chapter deals with defilement caused by the flow of life fluids from the genital organs or the semen. All right, you guys, buckle up. Good morning, Dr. Blitz. How are you this morning? You guys, we're about to read about the genitalia and its diseases. I did not have this on my bingo card this morning. I am so sorry. Okay, here we go. Yep, yes, Ash, it is. It's STIs. Okay, or STDs, whatever. Let's get back to it. When any man has a discharge from his member, his discharge makes him ceremonially unclean. The uncleanliness of his discharge is this: whether his member flows with his discharge or his member is stopped from discharging, it is uncleanliness for him. Uncleanness, for him. Every bed on which the one with the discharge lies shall be unclean, and everything on which he sits shall be unclean. Anyone who touches his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until the evening. All who sit on anything on which the one with the discharge has sat shall wash their clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until the evening. Is he just walking around slinging his dick around and touching everything with it? Why is everything he touches unclean? He's not touching it with his dick. I'm sorry. Before you exile me, I've slept on everyone's bed, Gray Eye says. That's hilarious. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll get back to it. All who touch the body of the one with the discharge shall wash their clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until the evening. If the one with the discharge spits on persons who are clean, then they shall wash their clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until the evening. What the hell are these people doing? So you're touching your dick on everything and now you're spitting on people? What is going on? You guys, what? Okay, sorry. Back to it. Any saddle on which the one with the discharge rides shall be unclean. All who touch anything that was under him shall be unclean until the evening, and all who carry such a thing shall wash their clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until the evening. All those whom the one with the discharge touches without his having rinsed his hands in water shall wash their clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until the evening. Any earthen vessel that the one with the discharge touches shall be broken, and every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water. Okay. All right. Let's go. So let's read about this. Let's find out. Why are we talking about this? All right. So, concluding the laws of purification from bodily impurities, this chapter deals with the defilement caused by the flow of life's fluids from the genital organs, semen, menstrual fluid, and the discharge accompanying gonorrhea or urethral infection. They are treated as facts of nature, some normal, some abnormal. The only sin connected with them is failure to purify oneself from them. The chapters range chiastically, I don't know that word, chiastically. Section A speaks of abnormal discharge from a male, and parallel section, which speaks of abnormal discharge from a female. These are severe impurities, such they reach the sacred sphere. Their barriers must make purification offerings to decontaminate the sanctuary after they have been cleansed. Section B speaks of normal discharge from a male, the emission of semen. These parallel section, which speaks of normal discharge from a female, menstruation, these are lesser impurities. They require only the cleaning of the individual, which, if performed properly, arrests any possible contamination of the sacred. At the center is section C, which deals with the impurity contracted during sexual intercourse by both males and females. Abnormal discharge in the male, the symptoms are consistent with urethral infections of various types and not only gonorrhea. In biblical times, it was not known that these ailments are transmitted by sexual contact. His member or his flesh is a euphemism. Do you want me to read that word again? Okay, I'm sorry. Let me read that word again because I'd like to know what it was too. And I don't have time to look it up right now. chiastically. So, alrighty. So I guess we're going to read about everybody's members. That sounds like a good morning. To read all about this. I did not know that I was going to read about gynecology in the Bible this morning. So the oiled log seeks sanctuary in the sacrum. Okay, all right, got it. When the one with a discharge is cleansed of his discharge, he shall count 7 days for his cleansing. He shall wash his clothes and bathe his body in fresh water, and he shall be clean. On the 8th day, he shall take 2 turtle doves or 2 pigeons and come before the Lord to the entrance of the tent of meeting and give them to the priest. The priest shall offer them, one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering, and the priest shall make atonement on his behalf before the Lord for his discharge. If a man has an emission of semen, he shall bathe his whole body in water and be unclean until the evening. Everything made of cloth or skin on which the semen falls shall be washed with water and be unclean until the evening. If a man lies with a woman and has an emission of semen, both of them shall bathe in water and be unclean until the evening. So, like this meant everybody kind of knew your business too, right? Like, because why is Jebediah bathing right now? I mean, obviously. Because he's not clean, right? But it's not because he's been working all day in the field. It's because he and the missus got it on, right? So, like, and you had to go tell people if you had an infection. because you had to go tell the priest. And so everybody in town knew because you did these rituals. Oh, so such and such has got an infection, right? Okay. When a woman has a discharge of blood that is her regular discharge from her body, she shall be in her impurity for 7 days, and whoever touches her shall be unclean until the evening. Everything upon which she lies during her impurity shall be unclean. Everything also upon which she sits shall be unclean. Whoever touches her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until the evening. Whoever touches anything upon which she sits shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until the evening. Whether it is the bed or anything upon which she sits, when he touches it, he shall be unclean until the evening. If any man lies with her and her impurity falls on him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and every bed on which he lies shall be unclean. Yeah, yes, periods are unclean. So Rabbi Hannah has explained to me that obviously, like we've talked about, blood, how it was considered the life force, and also how it actually does have pathogens and so forth that we can pass disease through. But the isolation and so forth that we're going to read about for women during their period in the Jewish culture is seen more of, listen, a woman is not feeling well when she goes through this, and you should leave her the fuck alone. That's the way Rabbi Hannah puts it. So we'll go. Thus you shall keep the people of Israel separate from their uncleanliness, so that they do not die in their uncleanliness, by defiling my tabernacle that is in their midst. This is the ritual for those who have a discharge, for him who has an emission of semen becoming unclean thereby, for her who is in the infirmity of her period, for anyone, male or female, who has a discharge, and for the man who lies with a woman who is unclean. Lovely. Oh, I have said this so many times. As Sweepy says, anyone else notice how sexually repressed religious men are? I think as a society, we are sexually repressed because of religion. That if we didn't, like, just imagine if there was no religion and we grew up, like, sexually free to make choices and to do things, wisely, but enjoy who we want and be who we want. Men would be getting a lot more sex. The problem is that they want sex, but they also want to slut shame women. Who are you going to have sex with? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not talking, obviously there's LGBTQIA people. I'm talking about cis straight men slut shaming women, but also wanting to have sex with women. It doesn't work. Y'all cock blocking each other with this scripture. It's ridiculous. Yeah. If you're both consenting adults, you should be able to enjoy each other, whoever you want. You're consenting adults. Yeah, I know that they did look at periods like a disease. They sure did. Kayla, I'm with you. I'm almost 16. I'm still trying to figure it out. I still am. All right, you guys, you know what? I am going to go ahead and end it here today. I'm going to mark it because I'm really bad at this. I'm going to mark it. We are now in Leviticus 16. We're going to be picking up at the Day of Atonement. when we meet back next week, I will be live tonight with Lobes the Absurdist for Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. When I have newer creators on, I love it when you guys come up and ask questions to just get to know them. They are nervous. They always get scared if there's a low turnout. And a lot of times that's not even their fault. It could be like a big creator we're going against. It could be many reasons why we don't. So if you don't mind, if you've got some time tonight, drop by and come up and ask at least one question, or ask some questions in chat or over on the YouTube forum. Okay, we want to make all of the creators, especially the newer ones, the ones that are coming up, feel just as welcome as we do when I get the bigger creators on the show. And we want to make sure that we send them all the love and support we can so that they keep on creating. All right, cool. I would love it if you guys were there tonight. Tomorrow night, I have Tiny Science. He was here earlier. If you love Tiny like I do, make sure you show for tomorrow for Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. And then this weekend, I have Daniel Green, to be announced. We're not sure. I believe it's going to be Saturday or Sunday. It's his Sunday, so it'll probably be my Saturday or something like that. Anyway, I'll let you know as soon as he lets me know. Okay? I love you guys. Thank you all for being here, and I will